Hi guys, Jennessa here. I have been thinking about expanding my channel a little bit, and part of my ASMR journey, I guess, has sort of allowed me to think of what I would do in that environment. I'm also an educator, so I've wanted to read children's books for a while. And don't laugh, but one of the children's books that I grew up with, I actually have in my possession. It's called Busy Busy World, and it's by Richard Scarry. I don't know. But it was, this is the cover, guys. Okay, and this is the other side. So they're all in this big, huge bus. And now, disclaimer here, it was published in 1965. And so some of the biases of the day will still be present in the words you hear, and sometimes maybe the pictures. So please be aware of that and forgive the book. What I'll do is I'll read 2 or 3 stories, 2 or 3, maybe 4 each session, so that if you have a child that from like toddler to early elementary or whatever else, this might be something that they would like to listen to and watch. Okay, so book again, Busy Busy World. Okay, and the first one is Pip Pip Goes to London. Pip Pip Cat went to London to seek his fame and fortune in the service of the Queen. First, he went to the Tower of London to see if he could be a beef eater, which means a guardian of the Queen's jewels. No, they did not need any more guards. Then he went to the Queen's palace. The guard wouldn't let him in. He was too busy guarding the Queen. At the Admiralty, where they guard the Queen's navy, he was afraid of being stepped upon, and so he quickly left. Pip Pip was very sad. He wouldn't be able to serve the Queen after all. The Queen must be very sad too, he said to himself. She has lost her ring. News: Queen loses her ring. He passed a fountain into which people had thrown pennies for good luck. He saw something which didn't look like a penny. It was gold. It glittered. It was a ring. Maybe it was the Queen's ring. He showed it to the policeman. They hurried off to see the Queen. It was the Queen's ring. She was very happy to have it back. The Queen made Pip Pip the Queen's guard of Her Majesty's fountains. Every day, he scooped out the good luck pennies. The Queen used the money to buy food for the poor stray cats who had no homes and lived in alleys. Wasn't she a nice queen? The next story. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to show you the pictures. They're not very long stories. So this was that page, and this was that page, which is the last page of that story. Okay? So he's all happy because he gets to guard the fountains and stuff. So Next story then. Couscous, the Algerian detective. Couscous was the best detective in Algiers. He was very good at disguising himself to look like someone else. Couscous is in disguise as he walks past the robber's den of Pip Pip le gangster. He is trying to think of a way to get inside the robber's den and capture Pepe and his band of dirty rats. Can you tell which one is Couscous? No, you can't, because Couscous is so good at disguising himself. Suddenly, Couscous had a good idea. He hurried back to the police station where his cat and mouse assistants were waiting. He took off his disguise and told them of his plan. You have a very clever plan, Couscous, they all agreed. That night, when it was dark, a small group came to the door of the robber's den and knocked. Knock, knock, knock. Who is knocking at my door? Growled Pepe le gangster. It is I, the pretty dancing girl Fatima, with my troupe of musicians. A soft, sweet voice answered. We have come to entertain you. Come in, said Pepe. He opened the door and let them in. Oh, how beautifully Fatima danced. She was magnificent. More, shouted Pepe. I have more for you, said Fatima. But first I must blindfold you, as I have a big surprise. So she blindfolded Pepe and the robbers and led them out of the door into the police wagon. The robbers were prisoners. They had been captured by that clever master of disguise, Couscous. My, that Couscous is a very clever fellow. That was the end of that story. They're very short. The third story is Ernst, the Swiss. Oh, pardon me. Let's try that again, shall we? Ernst, the Swiss mountain climber. Ernst Goat could climb up mountains. He could climb down mountains too. Heidi Goat had a cow who could climb up mountains, but her cow couldn't climb down. One day when Ernst was playing his long Alphorn, Heidi came running and said, My cow has climbed the mountain again. Oh, Ernst climbed up the mountain. This is the last time I will bring Heidi's cow down from the mountain, he said. He tied a rope around the cow and started to lower her to the meadow below. Suddenly, he slipped and fell. Oh dear. Ernst caught a branch with his axe just in time. I'll never again climb that mountain to bring your cow down, he said. He's very cross. The very next day, Heidi came to Ernst and said, My cow has climbed the mountain again. Ernst grabbed his rope and axe. This is the last time I will bring your cow down from the mountain, he said. I wonder if it was. Now, I'm going to do 4 stories today, so this is our last one, okay? Sergent Yukon of the Canadian Mounties. It was a peaceful day in Gold Town, away up in the Canadian Northwest. The door of Sergeant Yukon's police station suddenly flew open. Klondike Kid and Tundra Pete are back in town, said Grub Steak Moose. That meant trouble, for they were the two meanest men in all Canada. Oh my goodness. Sergeant Yukon ran to the door and looked out. Everyone was running down the street as fast as they could go. Everyone was afraid of these two bullies, but Sergeant Yukon wasn't afraid. I shall take care of them, he said to himself as he marched bravely up the street. Just look at that ugly Klondike Kid. He had taken a lollipop away from a little girl, and she was crying. That's not nice. Oh, and just look at that mean Tundra Pete splashing that nice old lady's dress. Oh, doesn't he think he's funny? You are both mean bullies, said Sergeant Yukon. I am taking you to jail. But look out, Sergeant Yukon. I think they mean to hit you. Sergeant Yukon ducked just in time. Sergeant Yukon dragged them both off to jail. And they stayed there until they learned not to be bullies anymore. It's kind of cool that Sergeant Yukon got them right away, huh? Sometimes it's not easy, but it was in this story. So, to recap, now this is a really cool map, guys, of all the stories, where all the stories are in the world. It's a map of the world, and everyone that's pictured has a story, and it's really nice. So today, we read 4 stories, right? The first one was Pip Pip Goes to London, about England, that's where that is. And Couscous, the Algerian detective, is in Algiers. Ernst, the Swiss mountain climber, Sweden, right? The Swiss are from Sweden. And Sergeant Yukon of the Canadian Mounties. And that we can tell right away where he's from because it says in the title, Canadian. It's a Canadian. So, next video, we are going to Denmark, Germany, let's see, France, and Egypt, and we're going to also meet maybe a Dutch plumber, okay? So, stay tuned for next video, okay? And again, this is Busy World. Okay, bye for now.